Let's look at rapid registration in the new TABE Online user interface. First of all, what is rapid registration? Well, it's a way of quickly registering a student and then very quickly assigning that student to a specific test session. So let's take a look at how it's done. I'm going to go into the Assessments tab on the top left of the screen. Then I'm going to click on Register Student. Alright, I'm currently logged in as an administrative coordinator in a relatively simple account. So you may see more sites and subgroups in your own account than you do here, or you may see fewer. Anyway, you can see that I have a district and a school and a number of classes underneath it. Now, also keep in mind that your site may not be annotated with the district, school, or class names, but this hierarchy is pretty easy for everyone to understand, which is why we tend to use this structure here in our demonstrations. So moving on, let's look within this demo site. I'm going to highlight the top level so that I can see an overview. And you can see a list of sessions pop up. These are all test sessions. And these are all assigned to the top level node, but you'd have your own populated within your specific site. You could have some of these populated within a class or within a school. It doesn't matter. I've clicked on the very top level because I know that that's where my particular test sessions are. So these are test sessions, but we're registering a student. So let's ask the system to show us this list by student instead. So I'm going to go to the right side of my screen, show by student, and now you can see all the students that are within this particular site, because again, I'm at the top level. I can see everybody within. So we want to add someone named Robert Ringwelski. This is obviously a very small list that you see here. And it's easy to see that nobody named Robert Ringwelski is already in the system, but you may have hundreds or thousands of students in your own organization, so maybe it's a good idea to do a quick search just to make sure the person you want to register isn't already here. So let's imagine that there are thousands of students in this list, and since Ringwelski is a long name and it comes on the second half of the alphabet, let's just search by key parts of the name. Alright, I'm going to go down here to this search student and I'm going to click on it. I'm going to search for Ring, R-I-N-G. Now I click search and you can see I've got Michael Ringwald, Molly Ringwald, but no Robert Ringwelski. Now remember, we could search for the entire name, but we don't need to do that. I just chose 3 or more characters within the name and the system can work with that. Alright, I also want to add one other caveat here. If your login gives you limited visibility and you are only, for example, able to see within a certain class or a certain school, and there is any question at all as to whether this person might be registered elsewhere within your account, check with your administrator and they will be able to do this search. Alright, so we've got Michael Ringwald and Molly Ringwald here, so you can see how the system makes it a lot easier for you to find who you're looking for. This can help prevent duplicates, like we said, and we don't have Robert Ringwelski, so we're going to need to create him. I click on the plus button at the bottom left, and now I just add the required information. Robert Ringwelski. I'm going to give him a random birthday. I'm going to call him an adult and male. And I'm going to assign him to summer session. Now I'm going to save this. And now I'm taken back to the search field. So you can see, whereas before we had Michael and Molly Ringwald, now we have Robert Ringwelski here as well. So this is kind of nice. Once you've added the student, they will show up, assuming you've used the same string. We used RING, so obviously Robert Ringwelski is showing up. Alright. All I need to do now is highlight Robert's name or double click on it, as I just did there. I am going to select the test session that I want him to be within, and I'm going to put him in the math session. And now I'm going to click next. Now you can make a few modifications to Robert's experience in this test session, but we recommend minimizing them in order to maintain the integrity of the test session. you can see that Robert is only associated with the summer session, so that makes it a little bit easier. Sometimes you'll find students who are associated with a number of different organizations, so you want to choose the organization that this one is going to be a part of. All right, if Robert had come to me with a lot of previous educational history information, I might consider not asking for the locator test here, in which case I'd be able to manually assign whatever I deemed appropriate to his experience. But in this case, I'm just going to keep the locator test checked to be consistent with everybody else's test experience. Now you'll see here I can also deselect and reselect and reorder particular subtests in here. But you are the best judge of how your particular program organizes itself. But please do so with great caution, since many sites want their test sessions to be uniform among test takers. If you're not sure, ask your administrator about your site's best practices. But you can see in this case, I'm going to leave everything as it was originally. I'm going to click OK, and we're done. I should point out that if you see something like this, where your license count has been exceeded, check with your site's administrator. You cannot add more students to a test session than the number of licenses available. Your administrator can allocate more licenses, or if needed, they can purchase more. Assuming you don't see anything like that, we can move on. So this is the last page that you see, this congratulations message. All right, there are two additional options you have here. First, you can add the test access code on Robert's test tickets by choosing yes in this lower box here. The default is no, though. Access codes are important for security, and so we recommend not printing test access codes on individual test tickets. But again, your site has its own best practices, so you get to choose. And then the second option here is you can print the individual test ticket straight from the screen. It will show up as a PDF just like the others do. If I pop it up here, you can see it. And you can save it and print it right from that screen. And that's it. Now I click Done, and Robert Ringwelski is now scheduled for the test session that we assigned him to, and we are done. You've now registered a new student to take an existing test.